Hey, I'm Kevin with What We Thought, and this is part of the bathroom project that I've been doing here, and I've got to do my closet doors. And I decided, well, I don't know if you noticed in any of the other videos, but my closet opening is finished. Normally on a closet, you'll put wood, and then you'll put a casing around it, just like a doorway. Just like the casing on the doorway. And I finished it on purpose, and nobody really said anything about that. But, originally we were going to have sliding doors come in here, 4 24-inch doors. And then after I was thinking about it, I'm like, if we have 4 24-inch doors, when you slide 2 over and 2 over, you have 4 feet opening, a 4-foot opening. I've got an 8-foot wide opening. Or, you slide all 4, or you slide 2 of them in, and, you can get to one side or the other. But, so, after rethinking all of this stuff, and that's one thing about doing it yourself, is you can change things up without submitting a change order. And you have time to think things over. You don't have crew coming in and wham bam, in 3 days you're done. So I decided what I'm putting in here now, instead of the sliding doors, I'm putting bifold doors, but not your typical bifold doors that fit inside of here. Like in between here, you don't have a rail. I'm putting the barn door hanger, but this room's too small to do barn doors to slide back and forth. So these are a barn door, but they're bifold. So they will slide open, and basically we'll have almost this entire thing. If we want to open up the closet all the way open, I mean, we'll have a huge opening. And I think that's a benefit. So, hindsight, right? When I was looking at the barn doors and everything, I'm looking them up, and they're not real too expensive. But Home Depot had them that weren't pre-assembled, the doors. So I thought, well, I'll save $250 and just assemble the doors myself. I don't know if that's a wise choice or not. I don't know how hard they're going to be to put together. They don't look like they're that hard. So I thought, well, I'll just put them together. I'll save a couple $100. And they came the other day, and they're down in these boxes right here. And so I'm going to open them up, and we'll see how hard it is to put them together. These are Fredbeck 96 by 84. So the rail is going to go probably somewhere in here, somewhere up in here, the barn door rail. And then the doors are 84 inches, so they're going to be they'll come up to about here, and then the rail. So I'll probably still have about 6 inches or more before I hit the ceiling. So it should go well. We'll see what the instructions say, the suggestions, and see how hard they are to follow. Yeah, $250. Was it worth it? After I got the boxes, and I opened the box just to see if the instruction manual was right there, and it wasn't. I'm gonna have to pull everything out to find it. But after I got them, I'm like, more work. Should I have just bought them pre-assembled? But hey, I wanted to save $250 because it's a DIY, and why not? All right, so let's see what all we got here. So I'm going to unbox this and start pulling stuff out. And there it all is. Looks like a lot of styrofoam. Okay, I thought I was going to have to go online and print the manual on how to put this thing together, but inside the hardware box was the instruction manual. So, looking at these pieces, they don't have the label on the part itself, but the label, the part number is on the packaging. So when I take this off, I'll have to remember this is B2. And B3, we're not playing bingo, so B3. B2, if you had B2, don't check it off on your bingo card. All right, so I'm going to go, I got shorts on, I got to get some pants on because I'm going to be down on the ground putting this together, so I'll be right back. The rail comes in 2 pieces, and with this, you take the plastic covers off of one end, put them together, and screw them together. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get this up on the wall first. That's step one in their installation instructions. And then after we get this up, then we'll build the doors. First thing you got to do is take this little plastic thing off, and they don't just like pop off. So if you got a blade, just kind of get the blade in there, and then it looks like they'll pop off. All right, so you got to take them off of both ends. Okay, so you just slide one end in till you get to that hole. I guess we better put one in first. They do give you the Allen wrench for it. Okay, so piece you see will look like that. Okay, so my rail is 104 1/8 inches long. My actual opening of this is 94 3/4. That's after I have all my drywall work done. That's what I ended up with, 94 3/4. So I took the 104 1/8, 1, 2, 5, divided, subtracted the 94 3/4, and I came up with 4 11/16 inches that I need to measure off from each end. So that way I'll have my rail will be centered. Okay, since it's just me, I've got this marked off for the first hole, so I'm going to get the first hole started, then I'll hold it up, get it level, and mark my holes. But the first thing I got to do is drill a 3/16 hole, bore a hole first. Okay, there's a spacer, and then a lag bolt with a washer, and the lag bolt head is a 1/2 inch, so I have a 1/2 inch socket on my impact drill. So let's see if we can't get this started. Okay, now I got to mark my holes. All right, got all my screw holes marked, so now I got to drill. Okay, so with my rail up here on the drywall, I love the look of that. I didn't want to put a header board behind it, but after talking to a contractor friend of mine, he highly recommended it. He said, just put it up there, paint it white, it'll look like the trim, it'll look good. I like the way it looks right there. But the problem is the weight of the doors and opening and closing, even though these have a big ring, eventually this could push into the drywall and cause cracks and all kinds of issues. So I will correct that, and then we'll get moving on with the rest of this. Okay, for building the door, I've got the A1, B1, B3, B2, and then these are my slats that go in between, and then A2 will come out here on the other side. So first thing I got to do is get these dowel pins in the ends of here, and they will go in here, just like that. Now it doesn't say anything about gluing. You could glue these dowel pins if you want. I am going to put this up like this so that my screw gun can get a tighter fit. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. This way is suggested by the instructions. So this is labeled C3. So these must be C1. Flat edge down. These two in the center are smaller. And then C3 has the finished edge too. So that when A2 goes on here, that'll go on the inside. There we go. I got one panel, one door done. I got the rail up. The doors go together pretty simple. Just a matter of getting all your pieces in the right spot. And I've got 3 more doors to make, so I will come back after I get the other 3 doors made. You know, the last 3 doors didn't take as long as that first one because, you know, once you figure it out, then the rest go easy. Now, they do have all these screw holes, openings, and they do provide little plastic covers, so I'm going to go ahead and pop these in there. Now, I think the instructions say you don't really have to, but I mean, why wouldn't you? You want to cover up all these screw holes, so I'm going to get these covered up, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, now it's time to put the hinges on. And I've laid out the hinges and marked them with a pencil, and I'm going to drill the holes 1 inch, 3/16 deep. 3/16 drill bit, 1 inch deep. That's on the instructions, but the instructions don't tell you where to put your hinges. So I did 9 inches to the top of the hinge on both sides. So that puts the center of the hinge right around 10 inches. And then the center one I put right smack in the middle. So I'm going to drill the holes and get the hinges on. Now, right now is the perfect time. If you have any defects, I have one door that's got a little defect. It's got like a dent in the wood. When you're putting your hinges on, make sure you have any type of flaws on the inside so that the outside still looks really good. Okay. See, I've got to put some tape on my drill bit to tell me what 1 inch is. All right, there we go. 1 door down. I'll get the other one done and then we'll start hanging these. Okay, so the next step is I got to put this little pulley hinge on there. I got to take this piece off of this piece and they supply you with the Allen wrench. So I'm going to get this off of here and then we're going to get these on the door. Okay, so I took those off and it's got this assembly right here. Obviously a washer goes on either end. And let me just show you here. So I've got these up here. These have pre-drilled holes in the door. So these go here, and then you run the bolt from the back to the front. So that you have the finished nut, which is the round head, one of these, on the front. Okay. Just finger tied them. Okay, I'm gonna get the other 3 on there and we'll be back. All right, so I have the doors sitting up here, but the problem I'm having right now is I've got to get these floor mounts in the floor back here in the corner, right there. There's no instructions on how to do that. It just says to put them in there. Okay, so I've got my doors up. I marked the floor at the end of the door. I put my level on the door and I figured I need to be 3 1/8 inch away from the wall. This is the width of the door, but it's not, this doesn't come to the end of the door. So I've got to take the doors off and see, it's probably a 1/4 inch or so difference. And then I have to adjust my marking on the floor and get my bottom swivel point in the floor. So yeah, it doesn't tell you that. So the best thing that way I figured it out was I got my doors up, I got them where they're supposed to be hanging in the center. I marked the outside edge of the door right there so that when I take the door off, I know where this is gonna kind of go. I need to figure out how far in the hole is on the bottom of the door so that way I can measure over and get this just right. So the outside of this is going to be 3 1/8 inch from my wall. I don't know what it'll be for yours, but that's what I calculated. And that's what I'm going with. So wish me luck. Okay, so I got the little pivot in the door, in the floor. Measured it was 3/8 of an inch over. I marked the floor, came 3/8 over, and on this one I had to come 3 1/8 inch out to be level. So now I'm gonna see if it'll fit. See if I can get it on there. one side. And there's that side. Okay, now I need to tighten that little hex nut in there and over here so that it doesn't fall off. All right, finally got the doors up, got them adjusted. I didn't put the handles on, and this is how they are. They are pretty sweet. They slide real nice. And now when I open it up, I got this big opening like I was talking about. We had some lights put in inside the closet, so when we're looking for stuff, we have lighting. Yeah, they glide really smooth. Was it worth saving $200, $250? You know, sure. You know, time is money. Putting the actual doors together didn't take all that long. And that really is where I saved it, because if I bought them pre-made, I would have had to put the rail and everything up anyway. So I think we did pretty good. They roll really nice. I got everything. I didn't put the handles on yet. These handles, I don't know. I'm gonna look around, or I'll put these in. I'm thinking about getting those like round rod kind of handles. But we'll see. I just haven't decided, so I didn't put them on. Anyway, I really, really like those. They really make this bathroom look nice. Only thing I have complaints about are these instructions. The instruction manual is good as far as putting the doors together and putting the rail up. But after your rail is up, then everything gets a little confusing. It does have like a stopper block that goes on the ends just to keep them in place. It doesn't really explain that really well. It didn't tell you where to place the hinges as far as, you know, distance from top bottom. I think I did all right at 10 inches, the center of the, you know, 9 inches down center of the hinges. I kind of was hoping they had them pre-drilled, but they didn't. And the reason why they didn't is because you can do the doors however you want to do them once you go to install them, open to the right or open to the left, however. They do have the holes for the little pivot on the floor on both doors. So, and then that was the other part, the pivot on the floor. You know, all they had to do was just put a little thing there saying 3/8 of an inch from the edge of the door to where the hole is on the door, so that when you mark it on the floor, you know exactly where to place that thing. I guess if you have a plumb bob, you could put a plumb bob up here, but you still don't know where the hole in the door is. So the easiest thing was to do was set the doors up, line them up in the center, mark the door, and then measure over and pop in those pivots. So, you know, just typical anytime you get instructions, it seems like they always leave something out. So those were a few things that were a little irritating, but as far as putting this thing together, fantastic. I love it. Let me know what you guys think. Did I do right by putting these bifold doors instead of the sliding doors? Because I'll tell you what, we can open up one side, same as a sliding door, and get 4 feet, or open them both up and have the entire 8 feet if we need to, for moving stuff in or out. Even for finishing building, as far as me putting in my closet organizer. So anyway, thanks for checking this out. If you haven't subscribed to What We Thought yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, share this video for anybody that's putting one of these Fredbeck bifold doors together. And I hope you have a great day.